Well, we had an opportunity to meet with the governor again today. Today we discussed bonding a little bit and trying to get our leads on the same page on that. So it was an interesting day, another good conversation that we had today. Not a lot of progress, but an opportunity to just kind of start building those bridges and lay out really a platform on how we're going to get that done going forward. So we are getting close to the end of session here, and so these are starting to pick up a little bit more, and hopefully we'll start getting this something accomplished here shortly so we can end on May 19th, which we're all hoping for.
I like how you said building those bridges.
Wasn't that what we're doing?
Yeah, that was kind of good. This was a conversation, though, as Leader Johnson said, just talking about bonding along with the governor's team. What you can see from the meetings that we have been having, as the governor has been calling these regular meetings with the 4 leaders, and then different topics has come forward, I'm really grateful for the conversations that are taking place. I think that puts us in a good position. We know the budget implications that are ahead of us. You saw House targets, you saw Senate targets, and then, of course, the governor. But as we come together and try to wrap up this work, obviously tomorrow is the 3rd deadline, and then we are on Easter Passover break. From there, when we come back, you'll see a lot of floor action in the House as we bring those things to a close. Bonding is something, though, that is very important to the state of Minnesota as long as we can afford it. And those core projects that we typically talk about, roads, bridges, and wastewater that have a statewide impact that connect with all Minnesotans, taking care of the assets that are owned. Those are top-level conversations. Everything's been turned over to the 4 chairs, the 4 leaders, as they continue their work going forward. But really, that's what we had in conversation today. Nothing additional to add at this point, though.
Is the social media time something you guys would actually consider on the GOP side as Sure.
No, I mean, we're not looking to raise taxes. Democrats over the last 2 years have raised taxes by $10 billion, spent down the budget surplus. We're not going to go back to Minnesotans and ask them to dig deeper into their pockets to balance this budget. We can do that here at the state capitol by doing things right and putting Minnesotans first again. So that's going to be our approach.
It sounds like projects limited to statewide impact. Does that rule out the XL request?
You know, I would say nothing's actually ruled out at this point, but definitely everything is on the table. There's a limited amount of dollars that are available with the debt capacity that we have, as reported by MMB. $700 million is the debt capacity. So everything's on the table. The chairs have been doing a great job, both House and Senate, of hearing bills as they come forward.
Madam Speaker, there are some bills in the House, they just had a press conference, House Democrats, about trying to address some of the changes at the federal level, so adding laid off by DOJ employees, federal employees, to the state's UI trust fund, a relocation bonus for veterans who might have been laid off from the VA to come to Minnesota. Is there an appetite from House Republicans, and perhaps Leader Johnson, you can speak to this too, to address anything like that at the state level, federal workers being laid off?
You know, right now we are trying to come up with that budget and get everything sealed up at this point, and so those things, as far as moving through the House, it hasn't really come to a leadership level or a definite level at that point. Something that we're aware of, but I think we need to more focus on the fact that we have a looming deficit over our budget because of what was spent over the last 2 years. Those are things that we are addressing right now to make sure we have a balanced budget and we're out of here by May 19th.
Do you feel like you're on track with the timing? We made so much of the rocky beginning, but it seems like you're kind of on pace for the most part.
Yeah, and I keep hearing people talk about a June special session and things like that, but as of right now, things are looking actually pretty promising to get to that May 19th deadline for the Senate and the House. So I'm optimistic and hopeful, and I think we'll keep working towards that. For the state of Minnesota, they don't need to be putting more money into a special session. Let's get this done now.
Biggest sticking points for House budgets right now? Where are they having issues?
You know, as far as the work that are being done by the co-chairs, and as you know in the House, this is a really great opportunity for our co-chairs to come together and to work on those bills going forward, instead of seeing all the pushback at the conference committee level, which there's still opportunity. We will still have opportunity to see things differently. But I'm really impressed by the work that is being done with our co-chairs. Right now, I know education and health are still working very, very hard on their bills as things are getting wrapped up. But they are doing the hard work. They are hearing from Minnesotans. They are looking at the budget reality, and I think they're doing a great job.
Speaker, to what you just were talking about, I mean, do you feel generally, broadly, like the collaboration between House TFLers and House Republicans is in a good place right now?
You know, I really do think it is in a good place. We obviously are not going to agree on everything. That's a reality. But looking at where we came from as session started and then stopped and then restarted and where we're at, I think our co-chairs now in this tied situation have done an excellent job working together, still hearing from constituents and representing each caucus, but evenly. I think they are doing a really good job and something that we can be proud of.
How do you close on bonding targets, and is there any concern about the Mooney bond income tax exemption being changed at the federal level?
Sure. And so as far as bonding targets, there are a number of proposals out there right now. As Speaker Dameth has said, we've kicked that down to the leads and the chairs of those committees to try to figure out a pathway if it is going to be possible or not. We'll make sure that those bonds, if they are released, that they are focused on the needs of Minnesotans. That looks like drinking water, wastewater, roads, bridges, those needs that are across the state on that piece.
Senator, could you maybe address where it stands now? Are you considering an ethics complaint against Senator Champion? What do you need to hear? Explain your thoughts now. We heard you a few days ago.
Sure. So Senator Champion, I know there's been a couple articles about him and funding some organizations that he has some very close ties to. And looking at in a legislature where you have a part-time legislature, where you have people that are going out and working in their normal jobs, you have teachers voting on education bills, you have contractors voting on bonding bills, but here where you have a specific group that a legislator funds money to, and then they have connections, real close ties to it. We have some real concerns about that and the allegation that have been brought up. So stay tuned. We're looking into that, but I think as we dig into it, we might have more ideas going forward. But ethics is a possibility.
Are you going to wait for them to issue their advice, the ethics committee, before you take any action on that?
Stand by. We're working on that right now and looking into it as we speak.
In these budget talks with the governor, how are you accounting for what could be huge federal cuts in Medicaid and other programs? And will you have to come back after May in order to pass a revised budget following the budget that Congress passes?
Right now, as we're looking at our budget work and the work that's going on, we have to go with what we know at this point. And again, $18 billion of surplus was spent, taxes and fees were raised by another $10 billion, and we have a deficit. That's what we know right now. If any federal changes would cause a change going forward after we seal up this session with a budget, then of course, if the governor calls us back, we would come back. But right now, we have to go with the dollars and the data that we have in order to finish up this legislative budget.
Time for one more. You mentioned there's not a lot of agreement yet on the targets for the bonding bill, or not a lot of progress out of this meeting. How far apart are you?
You know, it's not even a matter of being that far apart. It's the beginning portion of the work. The chairs, again, are doing an excellent job in the work that they're doing. The Senate has a different target. The governor and the House have a different target, but it is not at an impasse in any way. This is the very beginning of that work. And again, having regular conversations for leaders together along with the governor, this is a good place for us to be because it's opening that dialogue that we have needed for so long. Thank you.
Give a percentage what